One of my absolute favorite genres of book is folk horror. I really love horror, and the combination of horror with the traditional myths and practices, just it adds another layer of depth because almost every single culture, if not all cultures, have something dark lurking in the exteriors of their society. Either it's like a demon that lives in the woods, or it's a monster that lures you into a creek and drowns you. There are so many different types of folk horror tales. And I think one of the best ones that I've read recently was this book, Slewfoot. Slewfoot is another word for the devil or for Satan. And this book, as you can tell by the cover, is about a witch. And it's about a witch who doesn't really know she's a witch. And she has this kind of family history where her mother may or may not be a witch, but definitely connected to her ancestors, and then her father is kind of has a love-hate relationship with the Protestant faith. And this takes place in colonial times, so they're pilgrims. It takes place in an extremely conservative town where women are really told to be quiet, to stay on the sidelines, to not be, you know, active members of society, because only the men can really participate in all the legal and I guess social things. Women just really have their house and their family, and they can't really stray outside of that. And so it gives a really interesting world building of like what a Puritan society is like. And from what I've read in like history and stuff, it seems pretty accurate. But the main character is this incredibly like lively girl who was kind of sold off by her father to be married to this man in this colony. And essentially, she is not the traditional woman in the society. She is extremely outspoken, which is very much looked down on. She's very creative, she's very kind of progressive, all of which is kind of, you know, shunned by this culture, this community. And so she's kind of behind the scenes helping out everyone in town by giving them different like medicines and everything. And then she's married to this guy who her father sold her off to, but she actually likes him quite a bit. He's not what she was expecting. He's very gentle, he's very kind to her, but unfortunately he dies. And so the book is pretty much what her life is like as a single woman living in this Puritan society with magical undertones, creatures coming to help her or to hurt her, the church as both a community space but also a space of kind of unacceptance and judgment that is placed upon her. I just really like how this book is done. It's both about her finding herself and Slewfoot finding himself. It's not a romance. I know a lot of the books I suggest on here are romance books, but this is really just about a woman's journey coming into herself and finding her true power, which I think is such a wonderful plotline. But one of the things I love about this book is all of the art. So this is her, the main character. She looks really cool. And then I'm not going to show you very much of the other images because I think it's kind of spoilers. But I think if I show you the second picture of her, it's not too much of a spoiler because I'm not going to explain what happens. But this is the character development. So essentially, if you like strong women taking revenge on people, finding their place in society, finding their own like power and their role, but like their role for themselves, not what society wants them to be, I highly recommend this book. It is so good, and the illustrations are absolutely gorgeous. It says on the back that this terrifying tale of bewitchery features more than 24 of Brahms' haunting paintings, fully immersing the readers in this wild and unforgiving world. And I think that the author also does the paintings, which is so cool. Like the images I just showed you, I think he did them as well. And also all of the chapter openers. I'm just gonna show you the first one, so it's not too much of a spoiler, but all of them have a beautiful painting at the beginning. Also all of the details, like the little spiders and stuff, those are so cute. Like, I love the way this book is designed. Incredibly well done. I really enjoyed reading the book for so many reasons, but I would recommend it if you like folk horror or like kind of feminist literature. Not like feminist theory, but like, you know, women being cool.